Evangelii Gaudium Chapter 5. Spirit-Filled Evangelizers. There is a quiet longing in every human heart. A desire for meaning. A hunger for love. A search for something more. We fill our lives with noise. With activity. With distractions. But deep inside, there is still a question. What am I truly living for? And in the silence, a voice speaks. Not loud. Not forceful. But real. Jesus. Part 1. The encounter that changes everything. There comes a moment in life when everything slows down. The noise fades. The distractions lose their power. And you are left alone. With your thoughts. With your questions. With your heart. You try to fill the silence. With entertainment. With work. With people. But somehow, it's never enough. Because deep inside, there is a longing nothing in this world can satisfy. A quiet ache. For something more. And maybe you've felt it. In moments of failure. In moments of loneliness. In moments when everything seemed fine on the outside. But empty on the inside. And then, something unexpected happens. Not loud. Not dramatic. But real. A presence. A peace. A love. That you cannot explain. This is where Jesus meets you. Not when you are perfect. Not when you have everything figured out. But right there. In your weakness. In your brokenness. In your searching. He doesn't come to accuse you. He doesn't come to remind you of your failures. He comes to tell you something you may have forgotten. You are loved. Loved as you are. Loved in your struggle. Loved even in your doubts. And when that truth reaches your heart, not just your mind, everything begins to change. Your past no longer defines you. Your fears no longer control you. Your emptiness begins to fade. Because now, you are not alone. You are seen. You are known. You are loved by God Himself. And this encounter changes everything. Not in one moment. Not in a perfect way. But in a real way. A lasting way. You begin to see differently. To choose differently. To love differently. Because when you experience real love, you cannot remain the same. And slowly, quietly, a fire begins to grow within you. Not a fire of pressure. Not a fire of obligation. But a fire of love. And when your heart is filled with His love, you don't ask, do I have to share this? You ask, how can I keep this to myself? Part 2. The Fire of Mission. Something begins to change. Not just inside you, but around you. The same streets. The same people. The same routine. But now, you see differently. Where you once saw strangers, you now see brothers and sisters. Where you once ignored pain, you now feel it. Where you once stayed silent, something in you wants to speak. Not because you are forced to. Not because you were told to. But because love does not stay still. Evangelization is not a task. It is not a burden. It is not something reserved for a few. It is the natural response of a heart that has been touched by God. You begin to realize mission is not always about big moments. It is found in the ordinary. In a kind word. In a patient response. In choosing forgiveness when it's difficult. In loving when it costs something. Because real evangelization does not start with words. It starts with a life. A life that reflects something different. Something peaceful in a restless world. Something hopeful in a discouraged world. Something loving in a divided world. And people notice. They may not say it. They may not understand it. But they feel it. Because authenticity speaks louder than words. There will be moments when you are afraid to speak. Moments when you feel unworthy. Moments when you think, who am I to share anything? But remember this. You are not sharing yourself. You are sharing what God has done in you. And that is enough. You don't need perfect words. You only need a heart that has experienced love. Sometimes evangelization is speaking. Sometimes it is listening. Sometimes it is simply being present. And sometimes, the most powerful message is the way you live, the way you forgive, the way you remain calm in difficulty, the way you choose kindness again and again. This is how the gospel spreads. Quietly, gently, powerfully. Not through force, not through pressure, but through attraction. One life touches another. One heart awakens another. One act of love inspires another. And slowly, the world begins to change. Not all at once. Not everywhere. But in real ways. In real people. In real moments. In real lives. This is the fire of mission. Not loud. Not aggressive. But steady. Faithful. Unstoppable. Because a single flame can light another. And another. And another. And before you realize it, your life is no longer just your own. It has become a light for others. Part 3: The Beauty of Walking Together. The journey of faith was never meant to be walked alone. We may begin alone, searching, questioning, trying to understand. But God does not call us into isolation. He calls us into a family, a people, a community, a place where hearts meet and grow together. There is a unique beauty here. Not perfect. Not always easy. But real. Because when people come together, with faith, with love, with sincerity, something powerful happens. We begin to share more than just time. We share burdens. We share struggles. We share hope. We begin to carry one another. In moments of weakness, someone is there to lift you. In moments of doubt, someone is there to remind you. In moments of pain, someone is there to walk beside you. This is what it means to be the church. Not just a place you go, but a people you belong to. And yes, it is not always easy. There are misunderstandings, differences, moments of hurt. Because we are human. Imperfect. But even in imperfection, there is grace. Because love chooses to stay. Love chooses to forgive. Love chooses to begin again. And that is where true witness is born. When people see unity in a divided world, it speaks. When they see forgiveness where there should be resentment, it speaks. When they see love that continues even after hurt, it speaks. This is evangelization. Not just words, but a living example. A community that says, you belong. You matter. You are not alone. Come, walk with us. Because faith grows stronger when it is shared. Hope becomes brighter when it is lived together. And love becomes real when it is given and received. No one is too far. No one is too broken. No one is forgotten. In God's family, there is always a place for you. And when we walk together, step by step, heart by heart, we become more than individuals. We become a sign, a living sign, of God's presence in the world. And through this shared journey, others don't just hear about God, they begin to experience Him. Part 4: The mystery of God's work. There comes a moment in every journey of faith when things begin to feel uncertain. You try. You give your time, your energy, your love. You serve. You pray. You keep showing up. But nothing seems to change. No results. No recognition. No visible impact. And slowly, a question begins to rise. Is it even making a difference? Discouragement creeps in. Doubt whispers. And your heart grows tired. But this is the moment where faith goes deeper. Because the truth is, God is always working. Not always in ways you can see. Not always in ways you can measure. But always, faithfully, like a seed, buried in the ground. Invisible. Silent. It seems like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, life is growing. Roots are forming. Strength is building. Something beautiful is beginning. Even if you cannot see it yet. This is how God works. Quietly. Patiently. Mysteriously. Every act of love. Every sacrifice. Every moment of faithfulness is never lost. Even when it feels small. In God's hands, it becomes something greater. You may never see the full impact. You may never know whose life was touched, whose heart was changed. But God knows. And that is enough. Because one act of kindness can echo beyond what you imagine. One word of encouragement can stay in someone's heart for years. One moment of love can bring someone closer to God. The risen Christ is alive. His Spirit is moving. In hidden places. In quiet hearts. In ordinary moments. Even when you don't feel it. Even when you don't see it. Even when you don't understand it. God is at work. And your role is not to control everything. Not to force results. Not to chase recognition. Your role is simple. To be faithful. To keep loving. To keep serving. To keep trusting. Day after day. Step after step. Because faithfulness in small things is powerful in the kingdom of God. Nothing is wasted. No prayer. No sacrifice. No act of love. Nothing. In God's hands, everything becomes part of something greater. A story you may not fully see, but a story that matters. So don't give up. Even when it feels slow. Even when it feels hidden. Even when it feels unnoticed. Because what is hidden now will one day bear fruit. And what seems small today can become something eternal. So trust the unseen. Stay faithful in the small things. And remember, God is working, even now. Part 5: The power of intercessory prayer. There is a hidden place where the greatest battles are fought. Not in public. Not in noise. But in silence. It is the place of prayer. A place the world often overlooks. A place that seems small. Insignificant. But in the eyes of God, it is powerful. Because prayer is not escape. It is not weakness. It is not doing nothing. Prayer is mission. When you pray, you step into something greater than yourself. You carry others in your heart. Their pain. Their struggles. Their stories. You speak their names before God, even when they cannot pray for themselves. There are people in your life who are hurting, lost, searching. Some who have walked away. Some who feel forgotten. And maybe you don't know what to say to them. Maybe words feel insufficient. But you can pray. And when you pray, something begins to change. Not always instantly. Not always visibly. But deeply. Because prayer reaches where you cannot go. Touches hearts you cannot see. Opens doors you cannot open. God begins to work in ways beyond your understanding. And slowly, your heart begins to change too. You begin to see people differently. Not as problems to fix. Not as burdens to carry. But as souls loved by God. Prayer softens your heart. Expands your love. Deepens your compassion. You begin to care. More deeply. More sincerely. More like Christ. And that love becomes visible. In your words. In your actions. In your presence. Because a heart that truly prays cannot remain indifferent. Intercessory prayer is not just asking. It is loving. Standing in the gap. Trusting God even without answers. There will be moments when you feel like nothing is happening. When prayers seem unanswered. When silence feels heavy. But do not lose heart. Because God hears every prayer. Every whisper. Every tear. Nothing is ignored. Nothing is forgotten. Every prayer becomes part of God's work. Even when you don't see it. Your prayer is making a difference. In someone's life. In someone's heart. In ways you may only understand one day. So keep praying. Pray with faith. Pray with trust. Pray with love. For your family. For your friends. For those who are far from God. For those who are suffering. For the world. Because in prayer, you are never powerless. You are participating in the mission of God. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to kneel and pray. Part 6, Mary, Mother of Evangelization. At the heart of the Christian journey, there is a presence. Quiet. Humble. Faithful. A mother. Given to us by Jesus himself. In his final moments on the cross, he did not leave us alone. He gave us Mary. Not as a distant figure, but as a mother who walks with us. A mother who understands. Who listens. Who cares. In moments of confusion, she is there. In moments of weakness, she is there. In moments when faith feels difficult, she is there. Always leading us closer to her Son. Mary's life was not easy. She was called into something unknown. Something beyond her understanding. And yet, she said yes. Not with full clarity. Not with guarantees. But with trust. Let it be done to me according to your word. That yes changed history. And it continues to echo. Even today. Because every time we trust God, every time we surrender, every time we choose faith over fear, we are walking in her footsteps. Mary teaches us how to believe, even when we do not fully understand. She teaches us to trust in silence, to hope in darkness, to remain faithful in uncertainty. She is not distant. She is close. Walking beside us. Praying for us. Guiding us. She sees what we cannot see. She intercedes when we feel weak. She whispers courage into our hearts. And in the mission of evangelization, she has a special place. Because she was the first to carry Jesus to the world. Not with words, but with her presence. She brings Christ wherever she goes. And she teaches us to do the same, to carry him within us, to reflect him in our lives, to share him without fear. She does not draw attention to herself. She always points to Jesus. Do whatever he tells you. Her mission is to lead hearts to him. And if we allow her, she will lead us too. Through confusion, through struggle, through doubt, toward trust, toward peace, toward Christ. Because a mother never stops caring, never stops guiding, never stops loving. And under her gentle guidance, we learn to say our own yes to God's call. Part 7, Star of the New Evangelization. In the darkness, even the smallest light can guide the way. For generations, travelers have looked to the stars to find direction, to move forward, even when the path was unclear. And in our journey of faith, we are not left without guidance. Mary is that guiding star. Not a light that replaces Christ, but a light that leads to him. She shines quietly, gently, faithfully, not demanding attention, not drawing focus to herself, but always pointing to Jesus. In moments of confusion, she guides. In moments of doubt, she reassures. In moments of darkness, she leads us forward. Step by step, day by day, she teaches us something the world often forgets. That true greatness is found in humility. That true strength is found in trust. That true mission begins with a simple yes. And when we follow her example, we begin to shine too. Not with our own light, but with the light of Christ within us. A light that cannot be hidden. A light that spreads quietly, naturally, powerfully. One life at a time. One heart at a time. This is the new evangelization. Not driven by force. Not built on pressure. But carried by lives that reflect something real. Something alive. Something divine. People who have encountered love and now carry it into the world. People who walk in faith, even without seeing the full path. People who trust, even in uncertainty. People like you. Conclusion. The world is waiting. Not for perfection. Not for extraordinary talent. But for authentic witness. For hearts that are real. Lives that are transformed. Love that is visible. You don't need to be someone else. You don't need to have everything figured out. You only need to say, yes. Yes to love. Yes to faith. Yes to the call placed in your heart. Right where you are. With what you have. In your daily life. You are called to be a light. A light in your home. A light in your workplace. A light in your community. A light in the darkness. A sign of hope. A reflection of God's love. Because the gospel is not just something we read. It is something we live. And your life may be the only gospel someone will ever see. Let your life speak, and let your love reveal Christ.